It's about that time of day again, folks. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter, boys and girls. Joseph James here. Wednesday evening, May 27, 2015. We get a jam-packed newsletter for you guys. Are you enjoying? We're hump day here. Wednesday just slipped right past. It's going to be Friday morning. Hope you guys are reacclimating to reality after the holiday weekend. Always takes a few days to get back on track, right? Hope the weather's beautiful where you guys are. What a gorgeous day we had here in Los Angeles. Feels great to be alive, healthy, and filled with opportunity here this evening. In tonight's newsletter, though, please remember, everything I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm going to teach you guys and gals as members of School of Trade. Everything we talk about tonight in tonight's video, I talk about and trade with every day in our trade room at schooloftrade.com. So make sure you guys are aware. We get a great free trial here at School of Trade. Also, make sure you're watching this video on our trading blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. There are 3 reasons why you should be watching this video on our trading blog. 1, you can download all the charts that I'm going to use tonight. Every chart you see me using tonight, you can download all those charts by following that link right below the video. 2, I got a free pass for you. If you're not a member of our community here at School of Trade, if you're not a member of the School of Trade community and you'd like a free pass to test drive our live trade room, well, you ask and you shall receive, upper left-hand corner. How about lower left-hand corner? We get a nightly newsletter mailing list. Name and email, that's all I need, and I'll send you an email every evening right around 8 p.m. Eastern Time when this newsletter goes live. That way you never have to miss another bad trading joke on my behalf, right? Anyways, 3 things here. Download those charts below the video. Grab your free pass. I'd love to invite you out as a guest to come out and see how we do it in our live trade room. And of course, last but not least here, pardon my ugly mug, right above there, your name and your email address. Make sure if you grab the free pass or if you register for the newsletter list, make sure you check your inbox. I'm going to send you an email to verify you're not a robot, to verify I have the right email address, and, well, you get the deal. So check your email and make sure you verify accordingly. Mouth guards in, helmets fastened. Did you guys stretch? I hope you're hydrated for this one. This is going to be another jam-packed newsletter here. Yeah, I had some coconut water earlier on today. Organic, of course. Let's get started. The E-mini S&P is bullish. Coming off the channel lows, we kind of, I don't want to toot a little bit, but we kind of nailed that one last night. But we're overbought in the short term, right? We slipped above the 200 moving average. We slipped back inside that trading range. Remember we were talking about that, the 15.5 area from last night's newsletter? Okay, so we're definitely bullish. Our best option is to buy on a pullback right now to support levels below. The lows of the trading range are going to be a great place to look for bear traps to buy those lows. So stay patient for the pullback, you S&Pers, right? You bulls in the S&P, and wait for the sellers to try and fail. So looking at this chart here this evening, not a lot has changed, right? I've updated a little bit of it, but not a lot has changed here. We still have this very nice, well-behaved channel. You can see the midlines holding nicely. I mean, we went right up to that midline. That midline acted as great resistance here along with this little trend line down over the top here. So we know we're bullish. I cannot be a buyer here right now. Ultimately, as price pulls back, I'm looking for a bear trap. I'm not going to buy the 15.5. I'm going to wait for the sellers to try to sell that first break, right? Remember, we talk about this in our trial. We talk about this in our beginner, in our intermediate course. If you're a member of mine, you know. What do we know about trading ranges? Don't take the first break. That's what rookies do. You're not a rookie. You're not a donor, right? Are you a market donor? No, you're not. You're a professional, right? You know not to buy the highs, sell the lows. You know don't take the first break of the range. So I'm going to look for the sellers to try to take the break, and then when they fail, right, that's what we call a bear trap at that 15.52. So I'm not blindly buying it. I'm looking for bear traps. As we pull lower, 10.25. As we pull lower, right, 02 even, 99.25. This is all very, very simple, right? Just remember, when you get down to these support levels, what are your options? Reversal pattern, long. I could also look for a failed selling pattern to get long, one of my favorites, right? Look for the poor, uneducated, maybe not poor. I don't know if they're poor or not, but the collective poor sellers, right, that are trying to sell at the lows. look where their stops are going to be and wait for them to get stopped out, and that'll get you in long. Or you can just wait for the turn and then buy those pullbacks, right? Buy the dips on the way up. Bottom line, though, is right now, stay patient if you're a bull right now on the S&P. Stay patient. Let's zoom in a little bit closer because I think there's probably something in here somewhere that we can use. Oh, there it is right there. See how easy that is? Let's zoom in here now. Now, again, last night's newsletter, we were down here, right? Remember that overshoot? And I said, I don't know, guys. This overshoot, it feels like the chips are all in the center, right? And that's what we said last night. Overshoot, yeah. Just a little bit of an correction there on the opposite side. It actually blew right through the overcorrection on the opposite side. So you know there are some bulls involved. I'll leave the politics and the fundamentals out of this right now because we don't need it. All you need is this chart right now. But there are some things bubbling up around the world right now that would cause news out of Europe, news out of the U.S., housing market rebound. There's a lot of things that are bubbling up here that would cause me to continue to be a fundamental bull right now. But I'm not old enough. I'm not smart enough to be a fundamental trader. I'm going to stick to the charts. They've treated me well for almost 15 years. I'll stick with this. I get a headache when I think too much, and charts make it pretty easy. So as you can see here, because we kind of blew through it, I'm still going to keep an eye on this long term, maybe not long term, on this chart to long term. I'm going to keep an eye on this bear channel here because honestly, if I had to guess right now, this big run today, I would guess we're going to get some profit taking here. And if I had to guess, I'm not much of a guessing guy myself, but if I had to guess right now, I would say it would be reasonably expected for price to pull back to test the high of this bear channel, right? They always seem to bounce off those places. So, that would be again, if I had to guess right now, close my eyes and throw a dart at the screen, I would definitely say right about that. The bull channel low and the bear channel high, right? Just a tasty little area there to be a buyer. But again, you can see here, and I do expect a correction here. I mean, if you look at the ABC, if you widen it out a little bit, ABCD, that one's been obviously broken through. ABCD, I mean, it's a perfect measured move right up to our resistance zone, right up to a multi-tiered channel. This one took me a little bit of time. I had to take an Advil to find this one. This one took me a little bit of time to find that channel. Multi-tiered channel. And so, again, we know we're looking to buy at this support area here. If you're a seller right now, you better get to it fast. And the way that I always like to tell my students, my clients, our members in our chat room, if you're going to sell in an uptrend, and of course, you can swap this around, vice versa, to buy in a downtrend. If you're going to sell in an uptrend, the best way to do it is to wait for the buyers to try and fail. So find some short-term support, wait for the buyers to try, think where you'd put your stop loss, and sell into it, right? And that's the easiest way to get a nice little scalp that can turn into a nice runner down to these lows. You got to be a bull right now on the S&P, right? You got to be a bull right now on the S&P. It's really difficult for me to say anything else besides that. The only thing I want to recommend you do, though, is don't be careful buying right now. You need a bit of a correction. And if it keeps on going higher here, we'll analyze this in real time tomorrow. If it just blows me out of, if it makes me look a fool and pushes higher here overnight, again, I'm never going to buy the highs. And right now we're at the highs. I'm going to wait for a pullback here on the E-mini. How about we keep moving here? How about some yellow metal? This funky yellow metal they call gold. Hello, gold. I'm checking for a pulse right now. I'm checking for a pulse. We get an overshoot of that bear channel. What are we doing here, gold? What are we doing here? I told you last night there was a chance that we'd kind of force this thing down to that measured move support. This may be the token print. And token print goes all the way back to the old days where gold coins, someone would pass you off a wooden nickel, right, or a token. Right? So it wasn't real gold. The word token print means that's the trap. That's the fake out breakout, right? That's the illegitimate, that's a horrible way to describe it. That's the illegitimate print. That's the bear trap right there. It's a token print, right? You can see the trading range. This is a good example of why you don't sell the first break, right? You wait for a retracement, you wait for a breakout pullback, whatever the case may be. So gold is bearish, but trading with an overshoot of the channel lows, so we need to stay patient for a correction off these lows to get the best selling opportunities. If you're a seller right now on gold, you really don't have a lot of options right now. Really, and this is crazy because you're in a downtrend, the buyers have all the options right now. Buyers will look for the sellers to try and fail, right? And we talked about this before. If you want to buy in a downtrend, find an area of resistance, wait for the bears to try and take it short where their stop will be. That's where you can get in. Because when they're forced to buy themselves out of a short position, it's going to go right after your first target, and you can remove all the risk off it that way. It's very easy. We literally do this all day long in our trading with our students. Very, very easy way to look for failure patterns. Okay, so buyers, you wait for the sellers to try and fail. Okay, for the easiest profit. And again, we're probably going to see this thing eventually here. That's why I said, hello, earth to gold. Do you read us here right now? What's the holdup right now? It might be because we had, what do we have, like all-time consumer confidence coming out of the UK this week. We saw a huge number, 25-year high of housing starts last week. I mean, it's tough to find a bad thing going on right now in this world, right? I mean, heck, they got 50 cents a gallon in Dubai for gas. Right? I mean, what do you want? What else do you want, right? So I can see why gold's going lower. There's no real need for it to go higher. But, I mean, these sellers are all in. The chips are in the middle of the board right now. If the sellers want to keep loading up that pistol of theirs, they're going to have to take those chips off the table. They're going to have to cash out, and that's going to allow this price to go higher. So again, I think the bulls have really the pick of the litter right now. If you're a seller, you really got to be careful. I mean, I want to see this price go back into these highs. If you want to get the most bang for the buck, you might be able to grind this thing lower a little bit on the yellow metal, but you're right down at the lows. You're right at measured move support. It's borderline trade account suicide to be selling these lows right now. I would wait for those sellers to try to sell short and fail, and then you know where the stop's going to be, right? Think back when you were a brand new trader. Think back to before you found my newsletter. I know, if I could only be so smug. Think back when you were a brand new trader and where would your stop would have been, and that's where you want to be buying as this price starts to make its high. Hey, also, heads up, we get a rollover on gold. I almost forgot about that. Get a rollover on gold. It's probably not going to happen this week, okay, but you will see it on your calendar for the 29th. Dot the I, cross the T, compound the... Yeah, that should be Friday. Right? I believe Friday. Yeah, so probably going to be Monday for that rollover on gold to the 815. And then we get to go through the whole every 5-year cycle. Do we skip the stupid 10 month, right? You know what I'm saying if you're trading gold. I've been doing this almost 15 years. I still can't figure out when gold skips 10. I still can't figure it out. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe you guys can tell me here. How about some faster time frames here on gold? Let's zoom in a little bit closer here. I told you, bears, be careful of those traps down there. I told you to be careful of those traps on the bears. You knew they weren't going to make it that easy on us, right? Selling those lows. I'm going to leave it right there just to remind all the bears out there that lost their paychecks today. Don't sell those lows. Like I said, you got to wait to get up off those lows, right? You got to get up before you can get back down. Gold is trading at the lows of the channel. This is the same thing from last night. I'll be honest, I'm lazy. I didn't even change the darn text. You can go back and watch them last night. So buyers have short-term opportunities as this goes higher, and sellers, well, again, like I said before, if you're a seller right now, you really got to be interested in waiting for price to get up at some major resistance areas. This trading range, I think, gives us probably the best clues we get here so far. That range, that range expansion resistance overhead, that's really where I would expect there to be the best selling opportunities here. So buyers, you guys have the upper hand right now just because of location. Again, breakout pullback. Beware the bear trap. Right? I mean, if you're a bull right now of gold, you can almost just camp out down here, Wait for these gullible bears to keep trying to sell this sucker and just keep buying off that low, right? I mean, just be careful. I mean, you're in a downtrend. So if you're a buyer right now, you're a scalper. You're not a swing trader bull right now on gold. You heard it here first, okay? Follow the plan for tomorrow. We'll be trading that market in real time in our trade room tomorrow. How about the euro? The 6E. So supposedly, our good friends the Greeks, they've put together a pretty darn spiffy little plan over there in the last 24 hours. We went from all hell breaking loose on Tuesday to now all of a sudden it's like, oh, everything's fine, right? Another day. Is it incredible? We've been listening. I mean, we've been talking about Greece, it seems like, for a decade right now. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. What I will say, though, is what a testament to this world we live in. What an absolute testament to just the human will. What an incredible situation. If they can pull it together in Greece, you know the amazing people in the Eurozone, they're going to get this worked out. It's just, I mean, a year or two ago, you would have thought, there's no way. I mean, there are people betting in Vegas right now about the Greek default. Every single television station, which I don't encourage, by the way, boys and girls, turn off the TV and look at your chart. But it's incredible, though, that we're honestly working this thing through. It just goes to show you guys, you can't trust a word you hear on the television set. And never underestimate the willpower of the human race, man. I'll tell you, boy, it's incredible. Look at our economy right now, just revving its engine right now, and just great to see some good news come in Greece today. So, bottom line, I'm just trying to butter you guys up because I love your food, and I'm hoping one of these days I can get a little beach place down there on the Mediterranean, take a little siesta with you guys too. But we heard some good news today out of Greece. Who knows? Who knows what will be tomorrow? I'm cheering them on, I'll tell you that much. I'm definitely cheering on the Eurozone right now. I think we all should be cheering on the Eurozone right now if we can finally get back to business here. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Euro is bearish and coming off the lows of the channel. I'm not a fundamental guy. I'm not at all. Again, like I said, I get a headache, and I'm not old enough, in my opinion. You know, I'm only in my mid-30s. I don't think I've been on this planet long enough to be a fundamental trader yet. You can approve or disapprove of that statement, but I like the chart. But I mean, you know, the news is looking good here out of Europe right now. You know, obviously I'm not an expert on fundamentals, but that would combine with this technical chart here, and you can see here. I mean, we've got the ABCD down. We're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from that measured move support. So there's a chance here, just like we saw in gold, it may push right, slam down. The bears get all aggressive, and of course, whoop, right back up here. So don't be surprised here if we do run the stops here. You know, think about it. If you're a bull right now in the euro, your stop's going to be right about there, right? You get the measured move support sitting below you. It's not exact, but, you know, it's around that 0806, if you remember from last night's newsletter. So I would say scenario one would be we run at those lows. Bear trap, bear trap, bear trap. Wait for those sellers to try. Be ready for it. Just launch right back up with some bear traps there. Again, what I mean by bear traps is the sellers will try to sell those lows, and where they get stopped out, this thing should just slingshot right back up, right? Because again, when you're at the lows of these bear channels, all the chips are in the middle. The only way this price goes lower is if what? If what they call other time frame traders get involved, right? So this is a 16 anchor. If somebody off a 32 anchor was to get a sniffling for selling, right, then this could keep going. But right now, these traders are fully invested to the sell side right now. They're going to have to take some profit if they're going to start selling again. So again, buyers, if we make a run for it, you guys have the upper hand right now if you're a bull. But remember, you're in a bear channel. You're in a bear trend. You're a scalper if you're a buyer right now. Don't be getting greedy on me here. Don't be hogging all the Kalamata olives, man. I love those things. I love those things. Bottom line is some more Greek humor for you. I know I'm full of them here tonight. We had a great day today. Bottom line is I'm looking to sell those highs up around that 1063, 1017 area. You know where I'm looking to sell. The question's going to be here, are we going to get the easy money, just short-term buys before we get short off these highs? Or are those sellers going to get trapped out, and then it goes higher? Your guess is as good as mine. watching this market tomorrow in our live trade room in real time. Come out and see me. And, oh, man, you had to finish it with this ugly chart. You might want to get the kids out of the room for this one, guys. This is look at this thing. There's a ton of stuff on this chart. Now, I never like to put stuff on the chart just to put stuff on the chart because it's for me personally, I get anxiety with too many things on my chart. So I like to keep them really clean. Honestly, though, everything here has value right now. Let's look at this real quickly here. And also, don't forget, crude oil, you've got an inventory alert. Now, I just checked the API number. Okay, remember, we get DOE on Wednesdays. It was pushed back to Thursday because of the holiday. We get API on Tuesday night, 4:30 Eastern time, and it got pushed back to Wednesday night. We get the first build in the last 4 weeks. Now, at first glance, that would be a bearish clue. But do you remember what's happened the past 3 weeks? We've had 3 straight draws in inventory on the API, and price went down. So if history repeats itself, I'm just going to guess and say we go lower overnight because of this API number. Once again, the API number tonight, 4:30 p.m., usually every Tuesday. This week is the holiday. It's Wednesday. The API number tonight was the first build in 4 weeks. What's a build? It means more inventories. What usually happens when you've got higher inventories? Prices come down, right? Liquidate the inventory. There's too much supply or not enough demand. Well, that would make sense except for, have you met crude oil yet? Let me introduce you to my buddy, the CL, right? This crazy, this loony has no regard, right, to reality at all. Because the last 3 weeks, the API gave us a draw. And what happened? Well, you're seeing the result of it from last week, right? If you go back 1 week, we were way up here, and we came all the way down. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go with the opposite. Now, I always trust price action, obviously. I don't trust the news. I don't trust the TV. I don't trust myself. I trust my rules. I trust my plan. I trust my strategy because you can't trust anything else, right? I know what's worked in the past. I'm going to keep doing it. Over the past 3 weeks, when the API was a draw, right, lower inventories, we saw price go down. Now we have a build. I would expect they're waking up in Asia in a few minutes. They're going to come in London. I would expect we push lower into this news. Do not take that as gospel. That is not a strategy for tomorrow, but that's what, if history repeats itself, doing the opposite, we should go lower overnight and then wait for it higher after the news tomorrow. We'll see what actually happens, but that's the way it's been going, the opposite over the past 3 weeks. Don't ask me why, guys. Don't ask me why. If I knew why, I'd be partying with Richard Branson. Oprah would be there. Cuban would be there on one of those, Palm Islands off the coast in Kuwait. It'd be so much. Yeah, anyways, back to the plan here. So crude oil is bearish, pushing towards the low of the long-term bear channel. We get a measured move support as the only obstacle in its way. So we've got this really important level of support here at 57.17. It's a measured move support area here, and it's really the only thing standing in our way to get down to this channel low. Why do I say that? Well, because remember, how do markets move in these channels? They go from high down to low, from the low up to the high, down to the low, right? Low up to the high down to the low. You get the point, right? It's not rocket science. So we're expecting these sellers to try to push it lower. Ooh, maybe ahead of tomorrow's inventory report. So, if I woke up tomorrow morning here in Los Angeles or at the crack of dawn like I always do, it never gets easier, trust me. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we're sitting smack on top of that 56.65, between 56.65 and 56.14, and then we go higher off that tomorrow, again, expecting a draw in inventories in this, bass-ackwards, world we live in crude oil futures. It goes higher off these lows. The bottom line is you would expect it to push lower, test these lows, and then go higher, right? I mean, that's what we expect to happen at the low of this channel. It's not rocket science, just the way channels work. We're in a bear trend, You've got to be looking for selling opportunities right now, and that means selling at the highs of this channel. That's where you're going to get the most opportunity here to get short. I'm telling you right now, though, we may not get that shot at selling these highs until the end of the day tomorrow. We might be back here 23 and a half hours from now talking about how now we're ready to go short, right? I'm just telling you right now. If you're in Asia, if you're in Europe, you're going to get an opportunity most likely to get this price going lower here. Again, it may not happen. It may just go sideways into the inventory report tomorrow like it did last week. But the reality is, though, is that the biggest challenge you're going to have is you can't sell into 57.17. You can't sell into that long-term trigger zone support. That's up a 32 anchor chart. So it's going to be difficult getting short. Do your best to navigate through these support levels going lower. Do not sell these lows just because that crazy guy on Joe's video said it was going to go lower, right? I have no idea what's going to happen here overnight. We got inventories tomorrow. But again, if I had to guess, we go lower overnight, down to this channel low, and then we make the move higher off the inventory report, right? Then you'll hear in the news tomorrow about how we're all back, we're going to 100 again, and then, you know me, I'll come back and say, no, we're not. We're right back at the highs here. I'm going to get short here up the highs, okay? It's what we've been doing here for years here, okay? So sellers will continue for opportunities at resistance levels. Buyers, what's the best way to buy? Who's with me on this? What's the best way to get long in a bear channel? Wait for the sellers to try and fail. That's your cue for tomorrow. And don't forget, we got an inventory report at 11 o'clock tomorrow. So be careful there on the crude from about 10:30 to 11:30 tomorrow morning. Last chart of the day today. We've had a great newsletter. I told you it was going to be worth your time tonight. Crude oil is bearish again. Blah blah blah. We already heard this before. Ahead of tomorrow's inventory report. Got a couple things in this chart here. We have our bear channel. Okay, yeah. Very obvious there. Bear channel. AB. CD, there's your major measured move at 56.39. And then we got this cute little guy in here, right? This little guy right here who puts us right here at 56.81. Now we said 56.65. 56.65. So that's going to be your area tomorrow morning. Don't be surprised if that's where we end up here by the time we wake up tomorrow morning here in the U.S. If we do end up down there, the buyers, you guys be looking for those, right, for that short covering rally off these lows. And again, I think if you're in Asia, if you're in London, you've got a very short period of time here to get down to those lows, but do not sell those lows. If you're a seller here, you know what I'm looking for. I want to be selling off of these resistance areas overhead. I have no idea which one of those we're going to use tomorrow, right? It's inventory day. All hell breaks loose after 11 o'clock news tomorrow morning. So remember, wait for the reversal. As price goes higher, either wait for the reversal pattern, wait for the buyers to try and fail, right? Or just wait for it to start making this move lower and we can sell it back down here if we get the setup in tomorrow's session. Guys and gals, want to thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the long video tonight. I tried to keep it as short as possible. There was a very large amount of information to communicate with you guys. Before I let you guys go, don't forget, I know you're alone over there right now watching this video, but you're never alone in your trading career. That's right. We help people launch new careers as professional traders. We do it the right way here at School of Trade, and I'll put my money where my mouth is. Grab a free trial on our homepage. Learn more about our beginner, intermediate, and advanced memberships. And if you need any help, I've got someone standing by here 24/7, 365 to give you guys some information about membership. Guys and gals, my name is Joseph. Be well out there. Be nice to each other for a change. And I'll see you guys 8 a.m. tomorrow morning in my trade room, 8 p.m. tomorrow night for my newsletter. We got one more. Tomorrow's Thursday. This week flew right by. I'll see you then. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.